When there's a death in the family, life changes. It really changes. But what does that look like? If you're a child of 3 or a teenager of 17 or an adult, maybe in your early 30s, or the parent of an adult who has died, it's all different. So what do you do with that information, and how do you live your life? Well, here at the Lighthouse, you meet with other people who are going through exactly what you're going through. In this beautiful home, you've broken it out so that teenagers can be with teenagers, children can be with children, adults can be with adults. We're in the teenage area right now. Take me through the house.
We have a lot of different places. Having said that we don't do counseling or therapy, there are many areas that you will see upstairs. For instance, there's our hospital playroom. Why do we have that? Because a lot of our children have said goodbye to a person in a hospital.
Right.
Bearing in mind it's a young person who has died, it is probably very likely this person was in the palliative care or was in emergency care, was possibly a cancer patient. And imagine a 5-year-old who was last taken to see mom in that hospital room. Last time he saw her, she would have had all sorts of wires sticking out of their head and monitored by machines that beep.
Right.
And then mom doesn't come home anymore. For a 5-year-old, that is the unimaginable. That 5-year-old doesn't understand that death is final. So here in our hospital playroom, he can play through some of those things that he has heard adults say above his head, because he's standing down here while we have the conversation up there. He has heard things that he doesn't quite understand. He can play with other children in the hospital room. They take turns being doctors and patients. Here they are in charge of everything that happens in our hospital playroom. They can heal, or they can say to somebody that unfortunately it's fatal and you're dying, and they're coming to terms with that death.
Right.
If it's not the hospital room that appeals to a child, it maybe is our art room with that long table that you see here. Every night that families come to their groups, we have an art activity for our children. So that may be making a memory box filled with things that remind them of the person who died. Or it may be children who find it very difficult to go to sleep at night.
Right.
Are worried about going to sleep at night, anxious. And they may be doing pillowcases to help them when they wake up in the middle of the night with scary thoughts. And they decorate the pillowcase with drawings of things that make them happy, to give them better thoughts. Tiny little bits of self-help.
Right.
Or we may have a child that is not so much sad, but incredibly anxious or angry, you're right.
Yeah.
And what do you do with anger?
Yeah.
Anger is an okay emotion, but it's not okay that I hit you because I'm angry. But what do I do with my anger? I may go into our volcano room and bounce off the walls and literally punch away that punching bag there, because I feel like I need to do something with my anger.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you call it a volcano room, because it takes away that whole negativity about anger and anxiety, and it's a volcano room.
Yeah.
It's your place to erupt, as you say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's natural.
Yeah.
You cannot stop a volcano from erupting, but hopefully you don't damage others or yourself in the course of erupting.
Right. As you've heard, when someone dies, it affects everybody's life, and we all know that. There's so much that can happen that can allow you to have your new life and enjoy it. And in our next segment, we're going to show you more of the Lighthouse.